Started here. Welcome, y'all. This is Andy McCabe with the Restoration Rebels. This is your weekly Rebel Roundtable talk. This week, I want to talk about marketing. We've got some really great guys in the room. I'll have everyone introduce themselves in a little bit. But first, I'd like to start by reading the Rebel agreements as I have generated them. I rewrote them this week. And hopefully at the end of next month when we have our summit, we will bring these agreements, distill them down into their essence, and hopefully we can all still agree with them at that point. Our mission is to restore lives and livelihoods when disaster strikes. Our agreement number 1, I will protect the value of my services by never giving them away. I will never provide free comparison estimates, as these only serve to erode the value of estimating services industry-wide. Agreement number 2, I will practice incredible transparency and honesty in my communications with those I deal with on a daily basis. I will explain the claims process in detail to my client.
Zach.
Join the meeting.
There he is. I will never hide pricing details or manipulate reports. I will never communicate with an adjuster without also communicating with my client. Agreement number 3, I do not believe in competition. The restoration companies in my market are part of my community. I will be an active member of the restoration community. It is our unbreakable unity that will create the change we strive for. Agreement number 4, I am willing to walk away from any project, client, or agreement that is not compatible with my company and personal values and stated mission. No relationship, business or personal, is worth taking part in if it requires losing money, sleep, or my humanity. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
All right. Well,
Amen. Howley and Pacitators.
Pacitators. All right. Well, I'm going to start at the top and move down the list of folks in the room. And here's what I want from you. Whoops, I just lost my list of folks. I want you to tell me who you are, what part of the country you're in, and what do you do? Are you an estimator? Are you a restoration contractor? Just give us the Cliff's Notes version, and then we'll get back on topic here. So Chris Laney, the legend. What's up, brother? Tell us about you.
What's up? Chris Laney, Fort Wayne, Indiana, owner of Water Out. We're a mitigation-only contractor.
Perfect. No repairs, huh?
Zero
repairs. You guys watching Harvey pretty close?
We just dry buildings, brother.
Nice. All right, Drew. What's up, brother? Talk to me.
How's it going? Drew Blackwell down in Atlanta, Georgia. I own my full-service restoration company and mitigation, dry outs, construction, and I do some estimating, freelance estimating for people as well.
I think we call it moonlighting, but I'm not gonna.
Freelance estimating. It's only moonlighting. It's only moonlighting if you work for somebody else.
There you go. Had a kid. Mr. Mike Beller.
Hi, Mike Beller, Bay City, Michigan. We're a full-service contracting company at Wilgast, senior large loss estimator. I don't do a whole lot of mitigation. I know a lot about it. I know how to do it. My specialty is basically in the reconstruction and the rebuilds. And that's it.
All right. Welcome aboard. Thanks for coming in and taking part. All right, Mr. David Sweet. We're in the tank top today. Arr. Is he muted? Is he stalled out? We can come back to you.
No, I'm here.
There you are.
It's almost dark 30 for me here, guys. I'm up at about 4:30 a.m. So
Oof.
This is my sign off for the night.
Okay.
I am David Sweet. I'm in Tampa, Florida. I run a full service water damage, mold remediation, indoor air quality firm, and we're general contractors as well as doing. I'm an amateur software developer, consultant, and IEP. Not amateur at those, but the software, yes.
There you go. Thanks, David.
I'm going to flex for y'all. You ready? Give me grr.
Who's
Come on, Clark, smile.
420-2124. Who is that?
Michael Tab.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry, Michael. Michael is a good friend of mine from the San Francisco Bay Area. Mike, tell us about you.
Okay, we are in San Francisco, California, and we're a full-service restoration company. We are, what else? What else did you want to know? Yeah, that's about it.
That's about it.
Join the meeting.
That works for me. Thanks, Michael. It's good to have you, man. And Michael is a proud new owner of a brand new 5,000 CFM desiccant, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeehaw.
Just in time for Harvey. All right, where was my list? Aaron Hopkins, where are you at, brother? I'm going to unmute you. Aaron.
Hey, guys.
Hey,
Aaron
man.
Hopkins. We are a turnkey operation mitigation contracting company.
What part of the country?
We're in Chilhowie, Virginia, about 6 hours from Richmond.
Okay. Perfect. Thanks for being here. Where my list keeps jumping around on me. All right, Mr. Ryan Peacock, the man, the myth, the legend. How you doing, brother?
Oh my God. That was my bachelor party tagline.
I think that was all
Were
of
you
our
at my bachelor party or
taglines.
something?
Yeah, dude. I had my own. I
We're in
was my own
Silicon
legend.
Valley. It's like Michael and I. We obviously, you guys know, we've teamed up, and I think it's good that the independents team up. Mike's got that 5,000. We've definitely teamed up on some massive losses, and my goal is just to mobilize idle resources in each market, and take work from the big guys like ATI, Belfour, because their one biggest weakness is quick mobilization. So
Okay.
anyway, I just want to, I've been watching. Wait, what else was there?
That's about it. We can circle back around, but I know who you are. I really appreciate what you're doing. I'm excited to see how the industry responds and how things move going forward and into the future. So thanks for being a part of this, Ryan.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Brown. Looking serious today, Mr. Brown. What's up? Did I mute you? Oh no, I did.
Yeah,
Hey.
I'm open now. I'm having a real lag problem.
Okay.
If anybody cannot hear me, I may switch to my phone. Clark Brown, Michael & Son Restoration. We are a full service restoration company in the Mid-Atlantic State, Maryland, Virginia, and North Carolina.
Perfect. And a Restoration Rebel leader. You've been helping me a whole lot getting this summit put together and fielding questions and putting out fires. So I appreciate your time, man. And we have one more guy just snuck in here. It doesn't have a name. It just has a phone number, 9119. Who that?
That's me. That's Zach out of Jersey.
Zach.
So thanks, Andy, on that there. So I'm from Drive Fast. I'm new to the group. I'm parked right at the Lincoln Tunnel by Secaucus, New Jersey, Northern Jersey. Following Ryan, following the lead of a lot of the guys here in the group. Steve Hull, just met up with him last week. So love what you guys are doing. Love the message and looking to join and follow the leaders of this group.
Perfect. Well, more the merrier. We're not at critical mass. It doesn't feel like we're at critical mass yet. So right now we're just building momentum and going. I had Kevin Dooley on the phone today, and it just hit me that I'm just following my heart. I'm following the energy. It's just like something in here said, "Go do this," and it's something that's worth doing when you do it, and then people respond to it. So this response, the fact that people just call in and give their time and give their energy, it's just more affirmation that this needs to happen, and we need to go down this road. So this is an exciting time to be a restoration guy, that's for sure. I want to talk about marketing. I want to talk about, I don't know if we can raise hands or we'll try to keep it not, from getting too disorganized here, but what is working in your market for your businesses to go get work that's not TPA work? I'm going to mute. I'm guessing somebody.
Oh, I got you.
Ryan, who's doing that? Okay. What's working in your market? What's working for you and how has that changed? When I first started in restoration, I was the marketing guy. I was the candy drop guy. I was going to agents' offices and dropping notebooks and candy and golf tournaments and all that BS that just doesn't work anymore. So what's working in your markets, and then I'll circle back around and tell you about where I think it's going and what we're going to talk about later on this month. So who wants to go first?
I go first, Andrew.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so yeah, you forgot about me, the guy in the crawl space all the time.
Keith. Oh, you're in the dark. See, I can't. Where are you at? Hey, Rob, introduce yourself first, Rob. Welcome to the group. Go ahead.
Thanks. Hey, so what's working for us? Number one is BNI, Business Network International. So I have roughly 25 people, fluctuates a little bit, and those salespeople, I have a particularly.
Oh, everyone else mute. Everyone else mute yourself. There we go. There, somebody had some bad feedback there. Go ahead. BNI.
So,
I'm a big
we got about 25 people in our group that are constantly pushing us for water damage, mold remediation, indoor air quality, and of course crawl space encapsulation. And we are just absolutely flooded with work. That is by far the best. I mean, once you get in with you get in there, they get you in with property managers, insurance carriers, realtors, pest control plumbers, HVAC people, and then the work just keeps coming, just nonstop.
It starts feeding on itself. You get some synergy going on.
Exactly, and it's just an absolute freaking machine right now.
What hasn't worked for you? What have you done that hasn't worked?
I didn't do anything traditional, so far I don't know yet. Everything's been really successful.
All right. You can shut up now. Good for you. No, congratulations. I'm glad to hear that. That's what we all need to hear, and it's about relationships. It's about showing up consistently. Those BNIs are no joke. It's a lot of time commitment. It's once a week for an hour, hour and a half, week after week after week, and it's about people getting used to seeing you. And
it's like AA. You work. It works if you work it.
It works if you work it. Well put, my friend. Well put. All right. Who else? Who else is doing something that's really working in their markets? Mike, what are you doing?
Well, what we've been doing is, since we're a full service general contractor, we also have a architectural division. We also have a construction management division. So we do a lot of work with BOMA, but we also do a lot of work with the restaurant associations, because we have contracts. We build McDonald's, Tim Hortons, KFCs, Burger Kings, things like that. But also we do a lot of work with the schools here in Michigan. Our CM division works quite steadfastly to get bond proposals passed for their construction projects and what have you. And so as it goes through there, any losses that they have, we actually pick those up, and it works out very well for us.
Well done. All right, thank you. Clark, you guys have a different approach to the market you're in, don't you?
Yeah. I'm like Robert.
Hey, Mark, turn your speakers all the way down. If you got speakers, just turn them down.
How's that?
Nope.
Not good.
Still getting it. Oh, and he's gone.
Okay. No, here I am.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
Okay. I'm like Robert. I don't know from a day-to-day medium-sized residential, small commercial-based company what really is working or not, but what's working for us is phenomenal service, value added, going the extra mile, and diversifying into many, many different things, and becoming an educator to the customer, becoming a trusted resource. Not involved in any programs. I do a lot of local, not directly like BNI. I've got a lot of friends that are in BNI. We have about 4 different types of BNI groups here. But I'm involved with a lot of community programs. Okay. And I've got a lot of mileage from I wouldn't necessarily say nonprofit, but just community-driven organizations that are looking to build business in local regions, bring jobs and things like that. And I've gotten more from that than most any media or anything like that. But as you know, we get a lot of our leads from our own company and the other trades that we have. We're just a little unique in what we do.
Well, it's because you're cheating.
We are.
Right?
We're cheaters.
I mean, I just heard yesterday, or was it 2 days ago, somebody told me that the plumbers in Atlanta, Georgia, are getting $1,800 for a water damage referral.
Not here.
That is true in Atlanta, Georgia.
$1,800 freaking dollars. So, but Clark, you guys cheated. You have your own plumbers. You have your own electricians. So you have your other trades are feeding your restoration arm. Is that accurate?
Absolutely. And I will tell you, they're poached and they're very tempted. And I wouldn't tell you, we have 820 technicians from other trades besides the 45 for restoration.
Jeez.
They're not all giving us other work. I wouldn't have enough staff for that. They are poached. They are, pop-ups or, restoration companies that do pop-ups at the Ferguson distributor and offer 8, 9, 10, 100. But we bring something for them as well. If we get a full house gut demo or maybe even a fire, then we have opportunities for plumbing, HVAC, electrical rewire. So we actually are doing a reciprocal quid pro quo program for our guys. But we do give a lead. I won't tell you that, our guys are incentivized for giving us a call because our technicians in our company are all commission based.
You got to play the game.
You got to play the game.
Who else here, before I get to Aaron, did I skip you? Aaron Hopkins, did I skip you? Did you get a chance to introduce yourself?
Yes, I did.
All right. I'm sorry. I'm not the world's most organized talk show host guy. So,
hey, Andy, I'd like to chime in on another one too that's hugely successful for us.
Go ahead, Rob.
And that's Facebook. I mean, we work Facebook like crazy.
Okay, so tell me the nature of a lead that comes from Facebook.
For us, it's encapsulation primarily, indoor air quality testing, and then straight mold remediation inside of the houses.
Is that
so
Facebook
all things that are yeah. So we're constantly everything that we do on a daily basis. And Clark, you probably see this because I think you've liked our page. The guys digging the trenches to laying liner to applying disinfectant, setting up equipment, whatever they're doing, they're always taking pictures every day, all day long, sending them in like marketing. And we just flood Facebook with that. And then we do sponsored ads to the demographics that we're trying to hit. And I'm telling you, our phones just ring off the hook. The other one to add
are you doing pixels? Are you doing Facebook pixels and remarketing with that as well?
No, I just do straight Facebook ads through the Facebook app on our phone.
How are you building your custom audiences for those ads?
I'm selecting things like 35 male or female, doesn't really matter, and up, right? And then
geography.
Basically, 30-mile radius around us because that's primarily our service area. And different things like that.
I want to talk about 33-mile radius later, but thank you for that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just thinking about them as soon as I said that too. But those type of things, and then if it's directly for a realtor, we'll tweak that and only send that to realtors or property managers and try to get even more specific.
Sure.
So the other crazy one that a lot of people don't talk about is for mold, because we've been getting a lot of water damages. We only do water damages as favors. We hate water damages in our company. Me and my wife.
Hush your mouth. Hush your mouth.
I know. It's crazy, but we like to get paid and paid fast. But for mold remediation, another one, especially in crawl spaces, we got one company where they call us with one job a day, and that's a pest control company. Nobody's going after the pest control companies. Some of these guys are in 30 crawl spaces a day. The majority of these crawl spaces all have mold.
Yep.
So we give them a referral fee. I'm real tight with the owners of one particularly very large one, and that in itself it's just literally nonstop. Facebook,
nice.
BNI, and pest control, and you got a business in a box. It's just never going to quit.
It's a good thing you're so humble, Robert. No, congratulations. I'm just teasing you. It's great. And you have given.
I'm just trying to pass things along
Yes,
because
that's
I
good.
hate people. I hate people thinking that they got to run their company kiss and adjust their ass. They don't.
Amen. Amen. I second that. Clark thirds it.
Yep.
Yeah, 4-4. Yeah, whichever. So, who all here is? Just give me a yay or wave your hand. Who has done or is currently doing plumber referral marketing? Nope. Okay. Peacock, you getting some success with that?
Let me unmute. Well, our marketing, we market from all different directions. So whether, trucks being logoed, all these things like BNI, BOMA, but I've actually pulled out because I figured like years ago, we got away from construction because you say market your highest gross profit work.
Yes.
Which is drying, emergency service. And we've also expanded big into like hazmat, so
Okay.
soils remediations, mold.
Okay.
And so with us, it's the fire departments. And
Okay.
I've done the same thing with marketing. I've said, okay, well, what's my highest gross profit return on marketing? The bottom line is it's the hardest marketing in this business, chasing fires.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Well, there's a reason.
That's what we
there's a reason
do.
to do it.
But there's a lot of, you still have to have the branding. And a big thing for us is if you're not getting dragged in by a broker, agent, I can't necessarily go and buck what the carrier's doing.
Right.
So, that's the big thing. Like with our group, is I go, okay, there's a fine line of going head to head with the adjuster or providing everything that they need and some. So, like what we'll do is we provide a price list and we get our work authorization and then we get our authorized price list, daily sheet. Once they authorize that, from there, it's all T&M bill. That's how I lock the job in. Now, because the hardest thing with chasing fires and what we're doing is they want to toss you off the first 2 days.
Yeah, because they want to bring in their lackey.
Yeah, and so you have to. It still is a tiptoe around that of not bucking the adjuster, because if they want you off, they'll get you off that job. So we're presenting them with the price list. Now, if they don't like the price list, I'm pulling up the price lists that are a lot higher, which is a great thing for your group.
Yeah.
Have you ever negotiated that way?
We need. Yeah, I have. I have on the large lot stuff. And we need, if you're willing to share that, give me that.
So GSA, so I'm going to make you guys a bunch of money right now. Whenever the adjuster is messing with your price, you pull, and don't share this recording because I can't be going out, some guy's trying to skiff me or something and then they use this.
Sure.
I go out and you say, okay, well, let's talk the consultant or adjuster, what price list you want to use? $1 a week payroll.
Yes.
So we were taking everything possible from BOMA to, we would market everything. True guerrilla marketing. Now we're lean. I only got 15 guys.
Well, that's the Belfour model. That's the Harborough model. That's the ATI model. Anyone that is completely just said, we are going to chase. We're going to accept chasing. We're going to accept it as a standard business practice. There's no half pregnant when you do that. You go all or nothing. And there's companies out there with round the clock radio rooms, with manned by staff that's all they do is listen to the radio 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and dispatch people, right? And there's a sub-industry that specializes in those types of dispatches. Yes, who's that?
It's Robert again.
Hey, Robert.
Stupid crawl space guy. Now wanting to talk about fires.
Say something. David Sweet's waiting so patiently. So go ahead, Robert.
Okay, so fire damage is a huge thing that I have a major background in. I have no interest in fire damages at all. My wife ran a very sizable contents side, and she hates contents. But what we did to grow fire damages, and I've done with quite a few companies, is basically instead of chasing, which is what everybody knows what to do, it comes down to hiring the right person. So for an instance, we're in a rural area. We turn around and hired a previous company that I grew. We turn around and hired the pasture for the all the fire departments in the county. That person had so much credibility that once we brought him on board,
the chaplain.
we would just
the chaplain.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was a pastor, I think, for them, or
Yeah. Well,
I
the
always
fire
get that
department is
mixed
called
up.
chaplain. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So chaplain. So, anyways, we hired him, brought him on as the director of mitigation for emergency services, and he went out and built the brand and the trust. And then, before you know it, the fire companies were calling us, and they would hold everybody else off. They would introduce you to the homeowner, and you'd have that built trust.
Well,
and it was an easy $1 million in the first year.
That is. If you're in a market where you're the first mover, you get the most benefit out of that. Second and third movers doing the same thing in the same market don't get the same return, because I've seen how these markets. It happened in Portland, Oregon, and that was exactly the play. You got to know the chaplain, or you hired one of these chiefs, and all of a sudden you're getting all these board up calls, and they were literally raising the fire line for you to walk your equipment and your crews through. But then it got so bad that the fire department was politically forced to say, no, we're not going to do that anymore. We cannot refer anybody because somebody ruined it. Somebody took advantage somewhere, and somebody did something they shouldn't have done, or someone complained to a city commissioner or the governor, and then it gets shut down. So it's a good play if you can. If you can, while you're playing it out, but just realize that the game will end sooner or later, and it's not going to be a permanent thing. So don't plan on it being a permanent thing. So, all right, Mr. Sweet, where'd you go? You still there? David Sweet.
Hey, Andrew.
Yes, sir.
Okay, a big nugget that you guys probably already know this. When I talk chasing, we chase floods and hazmat.
Yeah, you
so
can,
like
you,
I
you
don't
can get
chase
the same alarms. You can get dispatch service the same alarms. A fire sprinkler goes off. Yeah, you're going.
We don't chase. High profile fire. I don't want anything to do with it.
Right.
Well, I'll board it up, but
it's a circus.
But so that's what you pay for when you get the radio room. At one point, we were spending $20,000 a month on the room.
Yep.
Is the TAC channels because your alarms, 90% of them are false alarms.
Yep.
Now I hope no one in my area is listening to this, but Michael does. But I mean, on the floods, you're chasing, and I don't chase during the day. You have to chase at night and holidays, Christmas Day.
You're going where your competition isn't, and to talk about the point you were just trying to make. There's no secrets here. I mean, I worked for Harborough for 5 years. I know how these things work. They're one of the pioneers in LA of this precise thing. So competition is going to do what they're going to do, and we just got to make the next best move.
Yeah, the secret is how guys are linked together and you can mobilize idle resources. You wouldn't believe the amount of work that I take from Harborough because they can't mobilize. Mike and I had a job that Michael went and spiked it because he was there in 10 minutes. And then we were able to network up, and then I bring the equipment in.
Yep.
And that really is ultimately the Uber.
Quick enough.
Yeah, and that's the Airbnb model. When I listened to the founder of Airbnb, and he said that if we can network up all of our idle resources that are in each market, especially for restoration, that's where we'll make an impact.
Yeah.
And that's where the carrier cannot choose who they want to,
and I've said it. I've been saying it for years. When the customer has a choice, it flips the script. If the customer has a choice and the knowledge to choose who they want to use, it takes the power back. And that's a big push between what I'm trying to do is we got to educate our clients. We got to educate the general public on the proper thing to do. Michael, go ahead.
Andy, I think that's a really good point. You know, all these marketing channels are all good, and they work. You know, they work differently in different markets, and you know, we're going to naturally find the ones that work for us and our personality and our company. But I think you hit something really important, which is helping our customers understand how this stuff works. Because, you know, a lot of our clients, you know, this may be the first time, probably the only time we're going to deal with them, and they're going to deal with the situation.
It's going to be their first claim and their last claim. Absolutely.
And the thing that I'm amazed about is that my customers read my website. They read the content that I write, and I write a lot of content about you know, what is you know, what are covered perils, you know, what are, you know, how do you deal with mold remediation, how does it work, you know, the thing that I kind of thought about was, okay, I can have a conversation with a customer 100 times and tell them the same story 100 times about what mold remediation is and why we do what we do and what does the S520 tell us to do, or I could write it out on my website, and you know, and people, they search, you know, and they're looking for answers. They're gonna find, you know, they're gonna read your website.
Yes, they are.
And you don't have to tell them, you know, you won't have to tell them as much. But I think, you know, educating our customers about things, you know, like frequent conversations that we're having, you know, and writing it down, and maybe even
there's a
creating
book.
creating little handouts too.
Well, that too, but there's a book called Utility, Y-O Utility, and it is just the nugget is turn your FAQ page into 100. If you're answering 100 questions over and over and over again, and those would be questions that are your frequently asked questions. Turn each one of those into a web page of its own and make it 4 pages long. And that will, if you're educating your customer, you're becoming the expert in their eyes, in their mind, and you're also, as it happens, increasing your searchability and your SEO because you're putting out great content, right? So those 3 things, the book Utility is exactly that, exactly what you said, Michael. David Sweet, I keep trying to come back. Are you still there? Nothing. All right, we have Watley. You have I don't know who you are. What's your story, bro? Where you at?
Mark Watley.
Mark Watley. All right, Mark. Welcome to the group. Tell us where you're at, what you're doing.
That actually wasn't me, so somebody knows me. Yeah, at any rate, Andrew, been following you for some time, man. You provided a lot of value, helped kind of shape some of my ideas.
Thanks,
not
man.
all, but some of my ideas about the industry.
The good ones. The good ones.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, in general, we take a much less combative approach than is championed by sometimes yourself, but it's very sophisticated, Andrew, which I appreciate, but sometimes more combative than our approach to like winning business and remaining profitable. So the moral high ground that you spoke about a couple months ago, dude, that's us. Like, we always maintain the moral high ground. Like, please come audit our warehouse, count our boxes. Like, we'll be on the right side of history. You know, I dare you. And we have been, and we've been like nuts on, right? To the extent that we built relationships at the highest levels with auditors of major carriers because they just didn't expect that. And we've got a way to, you know, really prove that we're spot on. But myself, let's see here. I am an exact trainer. I spend most of my time functioning in that capacity. That's the shirt I'm wearing. What actually pays my bills is my S Corp emergency pack-out code. So we specialize in private client pack-outs. So we don't do anything.
Nationwide, regional, what?
West Coast.
Okay.
So, yeah, all Cali.
I need to know you.
I like it, man. So yeah, I've been following you for some time, so it's nice to finally chat with you. But yeah, that's kind of my gig, and you can kind of see the natural synergy between being a trainer and the pack out work. So
yes,
I don't pay any rips, no VIGs to anybody ever. I don't need to, but I'm a resource for our other contractors, making sure that they're getting paid fairly for the hard work that they do.
perfect. So you take a different tack to marketing, obviously, because you have a different clientele. Most of us are restoration background, restoration marketers. Restoration companies doing restoration marketing.
Right.
But there's
Andrew, I was a GC for years. I sold and I'm still in the GC. I have my GC license on this business, but I sold that business in order to focus on this exclusively.
Nice.
I did attempt to play in both worlds, right? Owning both companies, but it was difficult when contents work when you're also a competitor of those folks that you want to win business from. So I had to let that baby go, but it was a favorable liquidity event for me. Good
for you. What were you doing while you were a GC as far as your marketing?
Let's see here. So I had 3 plumber relationships. I was able to get them $10,000 of work every single month because I was doing large loss fires. So they really enjoyed that. So I would never have to pay them a VIG. I did feel, though, I probably was losing a lot of the larger losses to the guys that were willing to pay on a percentage basis.
To the plumbers, at least.
You talked about this a while ago. You're like, don't be so surprised that these plumbers are getting into our game. You can't believe it, guys. As an Xactimate trainer, 30% of the people, 2 of them signed up for my class today, plumbers, okay? 30% of my students are flipping plumbers for my level 1 class.
And 20% are carpet cleaners.
Totally. It was very real. But that plumber conversion, I think I've noticed significantly more over the last 24 months. But your point was like, don't be surprised and bitch about it. These ridiculous VIGs, right? Back to these folks that they're going to want to chase that money, right? So I get it, but that's like where, I felt like ethically, not that I'm passing judgment, but if I can win business without doing that, that's optimal. See, how it started here in San Diego was you would pay a plumber $200 for giving you a lead. And then and that was a lead that converted. And then it became $200 for a lead, whether it converted or not. And then it became $500 for a lead, whether it converted or not. And then it became, I want 5%. And then it became 10%. And then 2 of pretty nefarious dry out companies that just charge egregious amounts, right, for their water losses. The kind of guys that are like individually suing adjusters directly and suing homeowners and putting liens on everything, right? These guys, the plumbers 20%. Okay? So they jacked up the whole freaking market. So I had these relationships established for years with these plumbers. I've been sending them great work. And then what happened was these guys came in paying 20%. So now I'm only getting the shitty jobs from the plumbers. The money jobs are going to these other players that are just making a mess out of the claim, doing the wrong thing by the policyholder.
Yep.
So that's why I got away from that space.
That's why, and I want to use that to transition into what 33 Mile Radius has done to the PPC market. Because what 33 Mile Radius has done is the same thing. They've bid up the cost per click in certain markets beyond reasonable, beyond what it really should have been, because they own it. They just dump a bunch of money in a market and they bid up the PPC, so they're the only ones getting it. But then they resell these things 4 and 5 times, right? So if you go spend the same money in the market yourself, you're better off than using somebody like, I don't want to single them out because there's other companies that do this, but a pay-per-click company, that's all they're doing. They're setting up a referral system in your name, but they're getting all the credit for it. And they're reselling these things 3 and 4 times. So they might if a click is, and some of these markets are stupid, like $1,000 a click for water damage.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's just dumb. But they're selling it, they're reselling it for, they say like $400 to each one. They sell it 4 times, they're up, right? So, and that's the play, and it has diluted and reduced the effectiveness of PPC to a ridiculous amount. And on that note, can I get back to Mr. David Sweet, because I know you have something to say about PPC. David, there you are.
I can confirm the mess that 33 Mile Radius is.
Amen, brother. Welcome to the conversation. Where you been? All right.
Oh, no, I've been there. I've just been on and off. Content's been so good. It's really good if I'm quiet. That's how excellent the content is. Yeah, it's okay. I'll own up to that. In Tampa, just so you guys know, $2,200. And we have opted out.
For one click.
Yep.
What's the keyword? Water damage. What? Water damage, flood damage.
No, that's what they're paying the plumbers.
Oh.
We just got hit up at Ferguson's for $2,200. Yep.
The claim.
And what I don't understand is
$2,200.
Well, and that's what I'm wondering. I have no idea how they're actually doing that, and if the plumbers are just extorting to us. By the way, can I suggest something for you guys to try with these plumbers that want to go someplace else?
I'm all ears.
I turned one of them the other day, and what I asked him is, do you want a partner or a prostitute? I said, I don't mean to be less than delicate here, guys, but, a prostitute is interested in a singular transaction where they can extract the most money out of you possible and deliver the thinnest quality possible. Do you want a prostitute or do you want a partner?
Right.
Because we bring more to the table than just the money that we refer to you.
It's not a one and done.
These jobs sometimes. Yeah, it's all one and done. But I think the market can't possibly bear that over a long time. And I'm not so sure you aren't seeing in your market like we're seeing in ours. This upward price pressure is just simply not sustainable. So you have lots and lots of companies desperate for work.
Yes.
Then they figure that if I can keep working for another day, that's a win. We were contacted by somebody who does recruiting for people. We've never bought a person through this company. They get trained people and they basically want to sell them to you. Because in our market, it's a little tight. But when we contacted them, or actually when they contacted us back today, they had a whole list of people where 2 months ago they had next to none. Because guess what? The war of attrition that the carriers are warning, and Florida's unique in this right now with all the stuff that's going on legislatively.
Oh, man.
But there's people going out of business right and left. So the technicians that weren't available before, all of a sudden, now there's technicians to interview. And they're properly licensed, properly trained technicians. We haven't seen those in the last 5 years. I can't tell you the last time I hired anybody that I didn't train from the ground up. So
I would argue
it's a weird market right now.
That way, because when you get somebody with 4 years experience, you got 4 years of baggage. You get 6 years experience, 7 years. Exactly right. Mark and Drew.
But I don't know how y'all's labor markets are. But our labor market, I got stood up for the third time for just a admin position in my office.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Yeah, and there's a catch-22 because, you can't get people to show up to work. I mean,
I'm pretty sure if she doesn't show up for the interview, she's not going to show up and do the work well.
Exactly right. Exactly. It's weird, and I don't know what that's about. And you're not alone. I've got a good friend. An ex-business partner in Portland. He holds 3 interviews a week just so he can keep his doors open to keep bodies in the trucks.
Well, and I'll tell you that's one of the reasons that I think that 2.0 is going to be so timely is because we're all working, not only economically do we have to make sure that we work lean, but all the people that are coming, they're going to be focusing on content that lets you leverage what you do have and become at what you have with the people that you have or even less. And this is just for the folks within this. We turn $1.5 million a year on mitigation, on a project manager, a tech, a lead, and a office manager.
Wow.
Documentation manager. And we can do it because the systems and the processes, the good news is we've been squeezed so hard here. We're probably a little bit ahead of y'all's markets like that. We've just had to become incredibly efficient and leverage everything that was available to us so that we could still be in business to take all the rest of those highly trained, highly qualified technicians that are now ready and available for hire.
And hungry. Yeah.
And hungry.
A guy was making $16 an hour who is on the street. He's going to be working for less than 16. That's for sure. But hopefully, if he's getting good, folks like us will pay him more than 16, because a good guy like that, and if you're following a proper protocol like you've got in place, I know you do, David. I preach a similar protocol, and I'm really looking forward to getting our two things together, the 24-hour tech and whatever you got going. Let's find a synergy there. But you should be these technicians should be making $1,000 an hour for your business when they're out there hustling, but not if they're not motivated.
God bless you. $1,000 an hour, baby. I'll take that all day long, every day. I just take it for a couple hours a week.
It's just simple math. It's just simple math. I don't know any of it. I don't like preaching about my own stuff, but how many of you watched the video where I put up masking? It takes me a minute and a half, and I do the math, and it's $1,300. Right. Yeah, Mike's seen it.
Yeah.
It's just simply documenting what you're doing and then working efficiently and not with no downtime. The downtime kills you.
I actually used that, told our technicians, and they didn't believe me. So I actually went to a whiteboard, took out the price, gave them some 4 mil plastic and tape.
Start to stopwatch.
Just made this amount of money. You should have seen their jaws drop.
Oh yeah, they do not believe it. They do not. I've done that. Every mitigation company I've worked for, I've done that, and the techs are just like sitting there, like. And then I'm like, and then I sweeten it. So I say, if you're making this much money, if you're making us this much money, this is how much money you're going to make. We're going to take this portion of the net profit. If the more profitable you are, you get a cut of that. And when they get that first check, that's where the magic happens. That first check at the end of the month where they've busted their ass and been so efficient and made you a ton of money, they get that. And it's not a lot of money. They make another $150 that month. But it is magic because they're working this system effectively and efficiently. I don't know. Why'd you got to bring up water techs, dude? I'm so passionate about that, dude. David, you're killing me.
Hey, Andy.
I love them. Go ahead, Clark.
Hey, let's let Chris, Laney, and Aaron. I think Aaron's a new caller. I'd like to hear.
Laney, where'd you go, bro? You just disappeared. Didn't say a word. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. And who else?
And Aaron Hopkins. I'm interested in his business. He does a fantastic job. I'd like to know how he does in his market.
I would too. Go ahead, bro. I'm sorry. I skipped you.
What are you wanting to know? And I can.
All right, Clark, you brought it up. No, I just think Aaron's relatively, I think you said, 6 hours from Richmond?
I am.
You're in a smaller market, but your knowledge of drying, I think especially floors and chamber drying, and I just wonder what you do in your small market. There's maybe a lot of people here. I heard San Diego. I think Ryan, are you in LA?
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people
are San Francisco Bay Area.
Yeah. So Chris is in a mid-market, and I'd say Fort Wayne, Indiana is a mid-market. I just like to know different size markets for scale and what's working, what's not, and start drawing some correlations in those comparisons.
Yes, sir.
You guys are talking of 33-mile radius, and I cover 145-mile radius. So, we only have 1 million people pretty much where I'm at. So, mainly, like y'all been talking about, fire departments is something I focus a lot with. And I actually have another business, a detailing shop. And I actually go to the fire departments and detail their fire trucks for free monthly.
Nice. Nice move.
I was asking. I knew you did that, and I wanted to ask about it.
Yes. So I opened up another
Cheater.
business, and I put another. Hey, it's not my company that's doing this. Okay. So
I'm just jealous.
So I hired a really good detailer, and I send him out monthly to different places. And, as charity, here you go. Here's your beautiful fire truck.
Genius.
Yep.
And we have restored 6 fire trucks in the last year, and we've received probably about $100,000 from each one of them.
Yeah, at least.
It's a great ROI,
and
isn't
then
it?
there's that 1 year you get 5 million.
Exactly.
And you
It'll all
hit.
come together.
It'll hit. Yeah, absolutely.
And especially project manager, I send them out. They're
Brilliant.
always on the road. If they're not in the office doing estimates, they're in front of hotels every day.
Mm.
And
yeah, I had pretty good success when I had a hotel route. Yeah,
Yep.
talking to the maintenance guys, right?
yes, exactly, because they know more people. And it's just a revolving circle here. And I mean, we dominate a lot of the market here. So
Good. Well, awesome. All right. So we haven't heard from Chris. What's your take, bud? Should I unmute him?
Yeah, you should go ahead and unmute him.
Unmute. All right. Now you can talk, Chris.
I think one big thing for us, we're a little bit different. Our market's about 500,000 people, so we're in a pretty small market. For us, probably over the last couple of years, the biggest thing we've done is, brought in our clients into our facility. Bring them in, let them learn who we are, what we're about, what our processes is. And, when they walk into our shop, they walk into an extremely tight, clean, organized facility with trucks that are washed, cleaned. They get to see who's going to show up at their client's home, building, whatever it is. And that's been a big thing for us, bringing clients in and educate them. Everybody, there's a lot of flood houses around the country. We have one, and it's in our facility. It's 1,000 square feet. It's not huge, but it gives us that opportunity when we host classes and continuing education classes that we bring people in and show them exactly what we do. When they walk in, the place has got 2,000 gallons of water in it. And we're going to show them how do we dry that thing in 72 hours, 48 hours. We can dry the thing in 5 days, but we can also dry the thing in 2. So how do we
Depends
do
on
those
horsepower.
things?
Yep.
Yeah. What is the value in doing that? And for us, it's purely about relationships and guys out there talking about plumbers and things like that. In our market, for the last 10 years, we've never changed what we pay a plumber, period. It is purely what David said, I think it was, that said, it's about the relationship. It's about the partnership. It's about feeding those guys work when they need work. It's about, they know what they're going to get. If a plumbing company is all about the almighty buck, they're not my client. They're not people that we want to work with. They're not plumbers we want to work with. We want to work with guys that understand the value in what we do.
Yeah. You got a couple little babies there? Who was that with the babies crying in the background?
Not me.
Doesn't matter. My kids are not babies anymore, but they still scream like banshees. So I get it.
Hey, Andy, I think I don't think any of these are the wrong answer. I mean,
no, you're exactly right, Clark.
I think everyone here has probably heard something. I off of what Aaron said. I don't know who has ever or currently does CE classes for agents and adjusters, but we would invite them over.
Aaron, you teach them? Okay.
Yes,
Aaron?
I teach them.
We would bring, they'd come over when their cars are either at our facility or we do it at Dave & Buster's or some kind of fun place to get the keys to their car. One of our techs or a couple of our techs would be out there lining them up and shampooing and detailing their vehicles, and they get their car back after their 4 or 8 hours, and they've got a detailed vehicle shampooed. So
you hit on a very good topic because
Clark, let me chime in there, because in my market, that's something that we've focused on pretty heavily the last 3 years and found a lot of success. We do a continuing education class every single month. For the first year we did it off-site at the Dave & Buster's, at the baseball fields, at the wherever.
Right.
And the second we brought it in-house and we did it at our house, at our facility, we saw a huge change in how we're viewed as a company. And when you start letting them into your facility, it becomes a really, you're tying them into you, I think. And we do them every single month. The class is full every single month. And, it's definitely been successful for us.
Well, I don't want to monopolize the call here. And Chris, you and I have gotten to know each other well. And I think it's safe to say that in your market, and many people on here, you're viewed as the expert. You're not just a restoration company or a water sucker. You were telling me about the flooring system you were doing, was it 5 hours away? And I think that's the golden grail, is be viewed as not just another like everybody else and being viewed as the expert. But you're right, bringing them to your facility. I give a lot of tours of our big building in Richmond and Alexandria. We had Senator Kane. Now, I'm not necessarily a fan of Senator Kane that ran with Hillary Clinton, but he toured our facility last week, and he posted it all over his Twitter and Instagram. And my marketing guy said that they got 600,000 looks out of that last week. And just doing any opportunity. And like I said, I'll shut up. I'm definitely probably one of the least marketing minded people here. I've just always marketed with service, and that's all I've got in my tool belt.
Mm-hmm.
A very good thing for Facebook is don't boost posts. Get on the yard sale pages and make videos and share them on every yard sale page there is. We have 13,000 views weekly from just sharing and not paying a dime.
What do you mean yard sale? Is that a colloquialism? I just made that word up, I guess.
Yeah.
Whatever. Somebody.
Just go.
Better trademark that.
Thank you. Thank you.
We actually just search every day for new places, especially just search yard sale. So many people are on there every day. And I mean, 13 to 15,000 views daily of just us cutting drywall or getting to them. They're getting to know us, and we're not paying a dime.
This is the first for me. I've never heard of that.
Hey, Andy.
Yeah.
I got one more thing I've got to jump off. I just wanted to tell everybody we're talking about marketing. September 29th, Restoration 2.0 Summit might be some of the best investment you can make in marketing with the other 100 people or 99 people in the room talking about these same things about what they're doing, where they are. So,
well, and we're going to talk about how I am not dumb. I'm not blind. I know that a lot of people, I know there's that's subjective. All right. Don't catch me on that. There's a lot of people that need program work, and they don't know how to operate without it. And I am all about showing all the different ways you can go get work. And that's why I wanted this subject to be tonight. You can go get work creatively in different ways without having to do program work. And that is, we hope to move the needle. If we hope to bring more contractors on board and get them to agree to the 4 agreements that we all are getting behind, we need to show them that they're not going to die. And a lot of folks are still to understand that I don't know where I'm going to get my work. 95% of my work came from State Farm. Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Well, Andy, it's like, we did a lot of different marketing, but even just sitting here listening to these folks, I'm saying that we got to go out and ramp up our plumbing referrals. I mean, I'm listening to some of these gentlemen, Waitley and David, and these guys, it's like, sound like they're kind of kicking ass, so to speak, by hitting with the plumbers, treating them well, and giving them the work. So it looks like we kind of have to look in a little different direction as well.
Until that market matures. I mean, everything follows a bell curve. So if you're in a market where the plumbers haven't been hit up yet, yeah, you've got a couple years of sweet life. But on the tail end, when everyone else is doing it, it just goes to shit. So, but the longer term, it's not PPC, it's not even SEO. It's education. It's educating your client and being found on search without SEO. I had a great conversation with a VC yesterday here in Bend, and I'm going to share eventually what he shared with me, because I just cannot, I can't do it justice here in about 10 seconds. But SEO is dead. PPC is dead. This referral marketing, if you're in a mature market, referral marketing and paying for plumbers and stuff is dead. There is another way. There is a company. All right, I'm just going to say it right now. There's Huckabye. Huckabee. I got what it sounds like. Huckabui. Huckabee.com. It's not SEO. It is changing the structure of your website and telling Google this is current content. Huckabee plus Huck News makes your website show up first. And it's not black hat. It's not Chinese calligraphy bullshit. It is legit. And Huckabee is how Overstock.com beat Amazon in his own game. Okay, I'm just going to leave that there. I will reiterate that and flesh that out. But we have to get creative with what we're doing. We have to get and we have to focus on our customer and focus on education. And that's why Chris Laney is so successful in CE classes. That's why CE classes work. That's why all these things you transfer your FAQ page into 20 or 30 different full-blown educational pieces, because people want to be educated, and an educated person is going to make the right decision, and that right decision is not going with what the carrier tells you. Go ahead, Chris.
I think it goes one step further than just the CE classes too.
Oh, for sure.
When you're marketing to schools and property management companies and nursing facilities and the commercial market, educating them and teaching their maintenance crews how to dry that $1,000 flood that none of us want to go do on Friday night at 7:30 at night. Teach those guys how to do those little things. They'll call you with that $20,000 loss that you want.
Right.
That $200,000 loss that Ryan's doing.
Why?
Educate those guys and teach them something that gives them some value instead of just always sitting there blowing them shit about how great we all are.
Right. Yeah, I want a maintenance guy to learn how to dry out his water closet that floods. I don't want that loss. I want a maintenance guy to have 2 or 3 1200s, right? Because he has a 1200 and a shop vac. He's going to take care of the nuisance claim that I don't want to deal with anyway. But then he's going to, you know what I heard of last year? There's a restoration company, I can't think of them right now. They actually bought dehumidifiers for property managers. They bought them dehus, right? Because they didn't want the little tiny losses. But then when they get into a loss and they say they plant that little 1200 and they realize this is way bigger than a 1200, whose name is on that dehu? And what do you spend? You know, $4,000 one-time spend on a dehu?
Hey, Andy.
What's the return going to be? Go ahead, Clark.
You and I were talking about this last week. You give until it's time to take.
Yeah. It's jab, right hook. Gary Vaynerchuk. Jab, right hook.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just plain works. It just plain works. And leading with kindness, leading with giving. What can I give you today? What can I give you today? You know, and I was telling Kevin Dooley when I had him on the phone today, I have no idea what I'm going to get out of this whole thing. I have no idea. And I'm not planning on getting anything out of it. I'm not asking for, you know, join the Restoration Rebels and give me $35 a month. I don't know what I'm going to get out of this, but I know if I give and I give and I give, the answer will come, and we all will come out of this thing with this thing is going to be gigantic, and we have no idea where it came from, but it's going to be awesome. So with that,
I think that it's important.
Go ahead, Ryan.
I think that it's important that you're not, you know, we went and marketed for Powered by Urgency. We marketed to RIMS. It's basically all the risk managers, builders risk policies. Belfor, the competitors there were like Belfor and BMS Cap, right? They have serious capital.
Yes.
I mean, we were sitting there and they had the private party, which I didn't get invited to, had Bon Jovi.
Yes.
I mean, they hired Bon Jovi. And so, like, what we talk about in our group is you need a certain amount of capital to brand. And, you know, I look that there's a lot of the same 100, 200 guys that are very active in this. But there's another, 12,000 guys. And it's trying to pool and bring together all at least 5,000. And that's how you're going to move the market.
Yep.
You know, and a lot of what I hear in the call is that everyone wants to be able to control where that work's coming from, control your destiny. You know, and there's all different ways to market, and it's competitive. But if I were to tell each and every guy on this call that right this second, there's a 6-story building, $300,000 drying job right now in your market, which I could guarantee you in the past 7 days, there's probably been one in each one of your market. You would get the keys and you would go out there and sell that job because you have the resources. And what's happening is a company, I lost a job to Interstate, and they sent resources from Texas to do this loss. And that's sort of along with the lines of Michael was saying, and you're saying, the more we educate the clients in the market that, look, there's these idle resources, and build the app. Like, we're trying to build an app that shows that, right? And they're not going to use Belfour and pay for the mobilization and all the programs. But right now, the fact of the matter is the people have no idea what this process is all about. And they have to go to Belfour. And it takes a certain amount of, it takes a group, it takes all coming together in a group and raising a certain amount of capital without bringing in a VC or someone that's controlling it, that's going to ultimately sell out, like DKI sold out, to move the market.
Yes.
The minute a VC is involved, I mean, what happened? DKI had that Chubb account because they're the Class A contractors.
They still
and then what? Sedgwick Sedgwick buys them out.
Yeah. Well,
in fact, the second
someone's going to get
when I was at that show, the second company that had the second deepest pockets was Sedgwick, Vericlaim. But I will tell you that I had a huge amount of, we got a massive loss from our efforts out there in Chicago because nobody could mobilize.
Yeah.
And so that's where I see each one of these groups. And the other side of it is there's different brand, the brand awareness. Restoration Rebel is, you've got a certain brand there, right? Like, okay, we're not going to get walked over on these bills. And this is how these things get set. Right. But there has to be different. Now, NOROP is great because say that thing goes big, and you can really get your EPA and OSHA approved and everything's on the same page. Now you've got your safety dialed for the industry. But there still has to be a brand.
Yes.
The franchises are clearing 20. The franchise group that I left was clearing $20 million a year, clear, net, off of just simply managing the claims.
Yep.
And I think that we all need to come together where we go, look, we're going to raise the capital between all of us and really go after this stuff and compete.
Well, I agree that claims management is the future. Whether you want to call it a TPA or an alternate carrier, that is part of the future. And if you're not part of a claims management, if you're not part of the HMO, you're not a doctor, right? You can't practice medicine if you're not part of the HMO. And I believe that is the future. I don't think we're there yet. And I think it can build organically a little bit longer before we have to say this is the way it's going to be, or this is the horse we're going to jump behind. But I'm 100% behind you, Ryan, that there needs to be a solid brand. There needs to be
to be capital, because what happens is this event I go to, Sedgwick, it's all VC and public money. Sedgwick, Belfour and Sedgwick control the whole thing.
Yeah.
They control the entire deal. And Vericlaim ultimately controls mid-loss and small loss, right? And so when I look and say, okay, if 10,000 contractors each paid to raise the money, then I could hire, and we could all go and hire you know,
Yes.
any one of these guys to go
Yes.
and compete.
It's about controlling. It's controlling the market from where the claim comes in at. Yeah. I mean,
It's from and that's where chasing's key.
Ryan,
because they can never beat you.
We need to bring that up. You're exactly right. Because you are truly in control. You are truly at the decision-making point. We need to talk about this next week. David Sweet, I want you to get the last word in, but then I want Kevin Dooley to introduce himself. What's up, Kevin? How you doing, brother? All right, Mr. Sweet, what's up?
Keep trying. Clyde.
All right, quick question for everyone here. Has anybody had any luck with pop-up booths at flea markets or tried to work their way into either Lowe's or Home Depot, nice and close to that plumbing aisle, with a pop-up that says, have you had a water loss? To either remarket back behind incompletely or dried structures, or grab stuff just right up at the front.
No, I think Lowe's and Home Depot, I don't know why they're not in this market already. But no, I've never heard of that before. Anyone else?
Well, Lowe's
is in the market down here.
Well, as a supplier, but they're not as a labor, not as a contractor.
Yes, they are.
Home Depot in my market.
Oh, all right, Watley, tell me about that, and then Kevin, you can tell me about it.
So they bought a supply company. So we've got a Baytex, Interlink, or Ramsco, right? You guys are familiar with that name.
Yes.
They bought a company, believe it's called Barrett. And so I was working with the highest ranks of Home Depot, and they were letting me to train anywhere I wanted to do on the West Coast, right, to get their contractors and their facilities.
Right.
So I ended up having to separate service with them because they started running 2 trucks here in San Diego. And then the regional manager was all dodgy about it.
Okay, who was running 2 trucks?
Home Depot branded vans, water fire restoration, hiring.
Wow.
Shut the front door. Really?
Yeah. It's like pilot program, Andrew. There's probably like 15 trucks in the nation.
Well, it's only a matter of time.
Yeah,
I got pictures of them.
They're going after the Interlink market, Ramsco, to circle back around on that, right? Because they want to be a supplier. It's kind of a good idea. They want to come into our warehouses and then just fill us like with whatever materials we need.
You're short on visqueen. You're short on drywall. Yeah.
And so they just fill you up every couple weeks. Good to go. It's not a bad model, but they want to go after a Ramsco Interlink, and those guys have been very good to us. So I had to keep my distance from Home Depot when that played out, because they're going after some established players have been so good to us over the years.
Okay. Wow. Kevin,
anybody know if they're active?
Oh, go ahead. What's that, David?
Does anybody know if they're actively soliciting in any market?
Well, isn't it actively soliciting if you offer the service at the checkout counter or at the contractor service desk? I mean, how are they doing it? Watley and Kevin, how are they doing it? How are they marketing that service?
So in San Diego, they have these equipment rental facilities, and they're full of DEHUs and air movers. And they thought a natural extension of that was when folks came in to get their DEHUs and air movers, if they seemed over their head, they would just queue up that lead to their team. That's how it played out.
Genius. All right, Kevin, what's up, man?
Hey, Andrew. I mean, everybody, if you want to talk about Home Depot, look at B-Air.
What, did they have an exclusive supply agreement? What's that?
They're just
B-Air signed that agreement. Go ahead, Kevin. You can tell them.
I was just saying Home Depot is repping B-Air equipment. So you can buy contractor packages. I think they're marketing contractor packages, single-use skid quantities and all that stuff as well.
It's turnkey. Yesterday you were a carpet cleaner. Today you're a restoration guy. Here's a DEHU and 20 fans.
Yeah, I don't really have an issue with that, in my opinion, anyways. But.
No, I don't either necessarily, but it also dilutes the market.
Is kind of a problem.
But is that not the start of it, guys?
What do you mean?
I don't know. My take is that if they're distributing equipment, it's not really a big deal because they're already providing all kinds of other consumables. But then getting into the actual service of it and competing against their client base is kind of ridiculous in my mind.
But they're going to start putting trailers at every single facility.
You know they are.
Yep.
That is, if that just popped the bubble, I don't know,
but that's what the market is demanding. If there wasn't a hole in the market, they wouldn't fill it.
But the barrier to entry has to be higher, Andrew. That's the problem. So when, you can be a rug sucker one day and all of a sudden be a restoration contractor the next. You talked about this a couple weeks ago. How, what would a GC do, right? And, those of us that are GCs, it's like, okay, what the hell do I do with that? But, dude, you were onto something. This whole idea where there's nothing federally recognized, nothing even state recognized. I've been working with the CSLB for years to at least establish a license for doing water restoration at the California.
And they won't do it.
We're working on it. So now there's a designation for doing mitigation, you guys, but there's no formal test for it. So we're working on the curriculum. Probably going to take another 3 years. There's just not a lot of political will to get it done. But it's happening. And that would be a good natural next step. But this whole idea that, like, even the IICRC, like, nothing against them, but, like, who on this call has ever failed that class? Who has ever said failed that class? Like, it's made to be passed, right? So I'm working, I'm a newly appointed board member of the RIA.
Okay.
And we're working on some curriculum. It's going to be fucking hard. And I want people to fail, right? And I want it to mean something when you can tell an adjuster that you have a RIA designation, and that knowing that, 40% of the people that walked in, took that class, paid for it, failed. That's when it means something.
You're exactly right. The barrier to
that's when your value and your knowledge is worth something.
Right, but until it's regulated and or recognized, you're not going to stop the guys. 911 restoration. 911 restoration. Who can point in their markets and look at a guy? That guy knows what he's doing. How many 911 restoration guys know what they're doing? And I'm not afraid to say it, because they're just unabashedly bullshit artists. But they came, and now they're on their way out. The problem is, we all had to suffer through it, but the market ultimately decided they are shitty and we're not going to use them. So they're not going to succeed long term. So anyone that goes out and buys a DHU and 20 air movers from Home Depot and doesn't know what they're doing with them, they will wash themselves out. I don't think we need to waste any energy bitching about it, because it's just a function of it's just a matter of time.
Well, it's also the large loss, guys, I mean, if you think like...
Who's going to take on a large loss with never having handled a water damage before in their life?
So I've been on jobs where like LVI, North Star comes in. Those guys don't know anything.
Okay.
But they're big enough where they're union and the CEO runs a nuclear reactor and all, that they trust them with a big water damage. They just gut everything. But I think that's the hardest thing to control. There's
is
so
that
many
a
different
sustainable
levels
model
in our industry.
Is that a sustainable model?
Well, I mean, LVI is like a Clean Harbors are probably a couple billion a year.
Works for the green trucks.
Okay. Any of y'all coming to Bend in September? You're going to need to go to Big Dog Growlers. Just side note. Just saying. 128 ounces of goodness right there. All right. Well, let's wrap this up. We're about 20 minutes over what we aimed at. Kevin, we were talking about the future of marketing and the future of how we're going to go get work going forward. Do you have anything to say on that, since you were the last one in the call?
How far future are we looking?
10 years.
Jetsons,
yeah.
Baby.
I don't know. I got some opinions on that. I think claims are going to be settled in short order once they're called in, and they'll be put out into. They're going to look to claims. They're going to look to. Geez, I can't speak right now. Look to close the claims within an hour, cash them out, or push them out to approved vendors, and then people bid on that stuff.
Yeah, I agree. And
They're
there's
gonna
going
have
to be data.
vendors in there.
The data set's going to be there before the loss.
Well, before a service provider gets on it, anyway. Yeah.
Right. So they're going to have an idea of not only what this house looks like on the outside, they're going to know what the rooms look like. They're going to know how it's trimmed out. They're going to know what the finish grades are, and they're going to be able to cash these things out quicker than we can respond to them.
Well, I think I'm not sure what ultimately the process is, but I think initially it'll probably be some sort of agency or representative that'll go in there, scope it, and within minutes of scoping, they'll have an order of magnitude complete and looking to either settle or saying, here's an approved vendors that'll do it at this price, or you can take it to the free market and you can choose your own and make them bid on it. And you can pick them based on rating, availability, or whatever the flavor is. But I think the preferred vendor market's going to be dead.
Yes, preferred vendor market is going to be absolutely dead. So it's just a matter of time. So the sooner you get off of it, the better. And it's just a matter of you got to see it. You got to see it coming, and it's going to look nothing like it looks now. That is the key, right? It's going to be unrecognizable. Are you sick?
Yeah, man.
No good. No bueno. All right. Well, it was awesome. This was an awesome hour and a half. Thank you, everyone, for participating. Get on the Facebook page. Use us. We're all resources. We're all. I had 2 phone calls today that just people had questions. Hey, I have this problem. Help me help you. And we're all here. We're all part of the same team. All right, y'all. We'll see you next week. And Wednesday next week. Wednesday, not Thursday. The whole eclipse thing messed me up.
All right, Joe. Good night.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, guys.